Dude, what eyelashes. Hello there.
Good morning.
Or afternoon, whenever you're gonna shoot this. We are going to start with our can do. So we have a writing sample. Sorry, let me start with the writing sample that we have is from a student in my ELD class. She's not in my home run class. She actually is new to the States. She came from Mexico last year. She did a full year of kindergarten here at Rose Hill, and then she is now a first grader. The writing sample, sorry, she's in math one, and she, her English is really starting to pick up. She started last year knowing no English, and now she is definitely putting things together. Sometimes her English can be broken, but you can tell that she's really starting to get a hang of sentence structures and how like when to use nouns and also prepositions. There's some prepositions she'll mix up, which you'll see in this actually in her writing. The writing prompt was about it was their opinions. We were teaching opinion writing, and they were supposed to. You looking for acting? Yes, sorry. Sorry, you're struggling. It was about their favorites, so we played a game, and it was a dice game that they had 6 options to choose from, and they were telling their partners, they were talking with them at first and saying what their favorite was, whatever number they landed on, they would describe their favorite candy or their favorite color. There was just different options, and so then after they had to write about it. And so their task was to write in complete sentences, and instead of using just period, 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 they could do it together with conjunctions. And they could even go a step further and write about where they like to play or when they've eaten tacos. Her favorite food is tacos. And so
just to add, she currently is on grade level in first grade for reading and writing. But on her access score that she took last year, she scored a 1 across the board for reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But based off of her access scores this year, we don't know yet, but we're assuming that she would probably have a huge increase in reading, writing, in all areas, actually.
She actually does miss a lot of school, so her absences have affected her growth. That's one thing had mentioned. Now,
All right.
Yeah, to look at
we're looking at conjunctions and prepositions. Right, we're pulling the conjunctions and the prepositions out of this piece of writing. Yeah, look. So here's her writing. I think so.
Okay. So my favorite color is black. My favorite candy is strawberry, and I think it's interesting how she spells strawberry. Backwards.
Shrub.
So, strawberry. My favorite game is Minecraft. So the interesting thing about her writing is it sounds like she speaks. Well, not sure. I think our last field here has gone like that as well. In Roblox. My favorite food is tacos. My
Universal.
favorite toy is polar bear, which I thought was pretty funny because it was super easy to pull and then bear together. And then here she used a preposition, and it was I play on my room. And so instead of I play in my room, on my room. My favorite animal is a cheetah, but I think it's a cheetah. Miss H, of course, I have to read this. Miss H, light green, and Miss H is frizzy. So,
and in here, when instead of "and," she has "en," and that's one of the common mistakes, or you can see the Spanish influence coming up.
Definitely. I know what I think I know mistakes with the teacher, and so you know a lot of my new to English students will use in T, yeah, TR, or DR will be JR. So
Or drum, like drum. I see that like J.
Yep, or T. So that's what we're going to look at.
All right. So so the prepositions and the conjunctions that are in here. She's got a conjunction. My favorite game is Minecraft and Roblox. So she's got one conjunction here connecting those two. And later on when we talk about next steps, when she has my favorite game is, like that should be favorite games are, because she has two. So that's the next step for her to talk about when to use the singular versus plural form of the verb, that verb, and how to put games as plural for her. My favorite food is tacos. My favorite toy is a polar bear. So what was the POC? A couple articles, when we were talking about articles at one time. So
My
the next
favorite
step
toy is a polar bear.
yeah, like how to put, but I think that was one of the common ELL or MLL mistakes, is to not put that in there, because not all languages have those. That
Well, I'm talking about like one noun versus like if you have one sentence that you have, or
Good morning, Rocco.
sorry.
So we would like to take a coronavirus break for a moment. And
So we are.
all right, we were just called to a staff meeting, so we will stay tuned. Okay.
And we were talking about the and so
Okay. So moving to just okay, the WIDA can do. We're on the key use of explain for writing, because this writing sample, they were describing.
really hard to judge writing and
Recount. Right, and I would say to experience lots of different things in order to pick one that's her favorite out of all of them. So that gives her extra thinking involved to pinpoint the one that she likes the most. Related to situation and events for her. Got it.
She had to recall her experiences.
Yep. She had to, draw on things that she has done, things she's done, things that she's been exposed to, and more.
thank you. Okay, so moving on to writing. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. So the 3 different levels. when it comes to her linguistic complexity, she does, let's see. So the first,
I noticed starting where we so
Right.
variety of sentences, links of varying linguistic
Yeah.
origin, cohesion, and used to provide.
So the one thing on here though, she starts a lot of my favorite. She uses that same sentence or structure. My favorite color is, my favorite candy is, favorite game, favorite food, favorite toy. There's one that's different. I play. My favorite.
More than what I know. So I would say, let's see what it is. Simple and more for personally, and let me know what you think because she is like on the back she's getting into her hand she uses contractions and so a lot of the time she uses where she said my favorite game is Minecraft. It could have been my favorite game is Minecraft. My favorite game is Roblox.
Right. Wow. This is above average for a first grader, and the fact that she even has punctuation, which is very rare for us to find.
That's a good point.
Lately.
You bring it back to like she is a like 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 6-year-old kid. It is really impressive. You know, and I think about the leap from difference between kindergarten writing and first grade. So I think that's hard sometimes, even for like adult writers. They just want to get it done and move on. So rereading is kind of a source of like pride and ownership that she wants to make sure it's good. Is there anything in number 5 that could push it up? Okay. Got it. It is a string of, in paragraph would have like a topic sentence. Right, especially for this, well, and you know, this is interesting. This rubric goes from 1 to 12.
Can do that work because this is also across the board in grade level. So
That's a big spectrum, like to, yeah, that's impressive, especially when kids are doing it in a language that's not their own. Like that's hard. Yes, for linguistic. I want to add something real quick. It's kind of a side note apart from this, but in the class that I teach, I have a lot of second language learners. Like one's from Saudi Arabia, like one's from Peru, one's from Mexico, and one, I believe so, and one student that's straight from West Africa. Like he's only been here like 1 month, and he has learned English. He's doing really well, but they had to give speeches last Tuesday, and some of them were like, to give a speech in itself is daunting and scary if you're doing it in your first language. But I was thinking about these things as they were talking, and I can see some of the simple sentences coming. Like in my brain, I was referring back to the WIDA stuff, which was weird to think that it's becoming a part of just regular mentality. Right. But like hearing the like, and then reading about the prepositions in the book too, like I could hear them like not putting some in or using the right one, saying in instead of on, like seeing it in action with adults. So it's hard. Right. Yeah. Hard. school and anything not in a big way was when he did his it's really going. I notice a lot of the times I'll say, go back to writing. Yes, it makes sense because that's how they talk. Right. Speak. So not just the no. They only sometimes they get kindergarten. Right. They have a lot going on. They're a little bit right, because it sounds, if it sounds right to them, it's because that's what they've been hearing this whole time. Something that when I was reading the part in the book about the like when they learn to sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm, or the nursery rhymes, that's probably why. And I know in our Haggerty book, there's a nursery rhyme at the end of each day, and like a Monday, it'll say, "Little Bo Peep lost her sheep," and then it builds up. And when I first started thinking or teaching that, I was thinking, we don't have time to do that. We just need to do all this phonemic awareness. But that connected more with me when I read that, because if all these nursery rhymes have the prepositions in the right place, and so they're learning it and hearing it correctly. And when you learn things through song, it sticks more. Well, and also, that's a good point. Maybe on the way bottom, there's like additional that is pertinent. We actually, you know, it's funny because kids have heard the songs before, and I think that they know them, but then they also use words, so it's nice. Whether it's like nursery rhymes or just saying like sentences. Sometimes instead of Go Noodle, I put on just nursery rhymes, and they're like, you can tell like in the comments or how they're packaged, they're meant for like daycares and preschools, but my kids are so engaged when they hear them, and they love them, and they'll sing along with the ones that we've heard from there, and that's all language coming out. And so it's calming, so I suggest it. That makes sense. Like for her,
Her second year in the United States.
Right.
That is amazing.
I think this was in January.
It's a great sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in January, I have her in my last read right now, and it's amazing to see how she reads and how she's learning more and more sounds that now she can go back and tell them in here. It would be interesting to see if she can still go back and read and more conjunction, because we work with conjunction in our certificate and our literacy program. At this point, we have it. So, or maybe very minimal.
Very minimal. Yeah. But even in general, from January till now, March, April almost, in first grade in general, there's a huge change in these from January to May. There's huge growth that happens every year. And I'm sure it's the same in kindergarten.
And our dibbles, like, this is the exciting time of year because they'll go from like 12 to like 48. Like they're like, even my one guy whose mom works here, like we're thinking of like, is it MTSS? Is it that type of situation? Is it behavior? Like, what are all these things? Like, how much is it academic or trying to find the root? And he's also a language learner, which she did not mark on the survey, but she speaks to him in Spanish, so that's a side note. But his score went from like the 12 to 48 because things just start to click all of a sudden. Like all the things that you've been like pouring, you know, little by little, it like this time of year, it's very exciting when you have your data type.
But we haven't really, and they focus on verbs and nouns and pronouns and adjectives more than they do prepositions. So it's hard to fit that in, or like she wouldn't know that it's in or all the other multiple.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's
because
a
that's
good thing
not
to know
explicit.
for next steps. Really getting hard with prepositions and conjunctions
Mhm.
and adding those into our ELD track.
Well, and I know like last year when I had the AL that English only had really hard, and it was mind-blowing to see how hard it was for them to know like months, like when they're talking about a month it's in, or when they're talking about a day it's on, and how that works with time. And so, and that was for English, like, proficient English students.
I had this conversation with my daughter last night, and she's English only. But why do you? When I was reading the book, this little triangle thing was in there, where it talked about where you go smaller to bigger when it from at to on to in. But we were saying, why do you say in June but on Saturday? Like, how do you explain that to someone? It's hard to explain without like these structures. But she said, but you say on June 10th, but you wouldn't say in June 10th. Right. So how hard is that for a second language learner to differentiate that? And on and in are so close, like one vowel away from each other. Like, that's tricky. Yeah.
I know it was
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to, it just goes to more exposure. Like, again, we just talked, they've only been on this earth for 6, 7, 5 years. So just modeling, 6, whatever, modeling these things and explicitly like explaining these things. But it's just not, it's something that we just do naturally that we have to go back and like teach ourselves.
Well, and maybe that's a like a teaching point for us too, because we do calendar every day. Maybe we point it out during calendar time and say, on Friday we're going to do this, and just say, we don't say in Friday, or in the month of March. Yeah. One of my guys always says, there are too many tomorrows until then. And I think that's a really cute way to say. Yeah. Okay, so vocabulary usage.
Usage of specific and some technical language related to the context area. Well, so going back to what you said about her saying my favorite, and then on the back she used different ones, but she uses my favorite a lot, so I think that would be lacking.
So maybe take her down from 4.
Uses of specific language maybe evident. I think that's more
Got it.
because it is, but it's also on the back.
Yeah. And when it says use of general, like my favorite food is tacos, like,
Which is what was said.
okay.
So that was a sentence frame.
Well, yeah, and that's what they're
got it. So maybe going from general to specific, if she was moving up, it could be like more adjectives, I guess, in it, like street tacos, soft tacos, like all the tacos.
That's a good idea.
But that, yeah, those could be next steps for her to add, to start describing them or adding why.
And like, I just added other sentence starters. So, and this is for my language class, but I have my favorite is the first grade, and I grade them. Like, my favorite is a first grade level sentence. In my opinion, is a second grade level sentence. And then, I don't know, in my opinion, blah, 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 blank is my favorite because blah, blah, blah. So adding that because also would be another thing for her, because she definitely could do it.
Also, I think ago. We're cleaning out our classrooms today as well, so and it was nice to go back and find some writing. We had another piece of stuff that I saw this one and I was like, oh yeah, this one. Like it's interesting to read her writing and to see the difference in like I said, the previous two about compared to her writing, it's night and day. Also, I thinking back to this when we did this in January, I remember I asked if there was another way she could write my favorite instead of saying my favorite, and so that's why I do I like and I know instead.
Oh, so you prompted her?
I did.
So, but that's good. You're moving her up on the WIDA consortium. You're a good teacher. Right, it's in print. That makes it a fact. I'm gonna stamp it with something.
That what your suggestion is true. Or will definitely.
Agree. So
I mean,
three.
for vocabulary.
And 3 is extended. No.
Developing.
Only you have maybe. That actually works.
All right. Language control. So the fact that like when we are teaching sentences right now in kindergarten, we teach a 5-star sentence so they can kind of grade their own on a rubric. So you get a star for a capital, a star for finger spaces, 1 for punctuation, 1 for neat handwriting, and 1 for does it make sense? Like, does it sound the way I talk? And which I think is language control right now. So this does sound like the way she would talk. My favorite color, like it all makes. So I think when we start to give her a score on this, we can start high. Maybe not. I mean, the highest with number 6, reach comparability of that of English proficient in statewide. I don't know, but approaching that of her English only peers.
Yeah.
Errors don't impede comprehensibility. And what like the errors that she had were back to when we were talking about the verb thing. My favorite game is Minecraft, and so that's like her peers would be is an R, so that's one, but it doesn't impede, so that does keep her higher. Just like screen and
Even there was, I don't think there was
one word question in here.
But definitely 5.
yeah, 5 language control 5. So when you average them all out, it puts her at an overall 4. So
Yeah. You're really good with this averaging.
it's mental math. It's all the number talk. Yeah. Yeah. It seemed. I wonder if we will get feedback from them.
They said we would.
And they have sentence frames in them, so it's also ELD because we use language in them, and they have to answer incomplete sentences.
What is 5 considered?
Bridging.
Bridging. Okay.
Okay. Another thing I'll leave is
Hold on. We need to identify the. Oh well, I haven't been typing it. With the errors, there are only 2 errors that I remember, right?
Errors and some like punctuation. But that's not like well. When does punctuation come in on these? I mean, like, does it refer to mechanics in here, or is this all just straight language?
I felt like the one that we writing to grade today too. No, this is exactly.
Maybe that's a question for our ELD coach. Like, when do you factor it in? Because because we know that she was starting a new sentence here, but we also know in writing itself, like, you have to teach mechanics. So how do they mesh together when it comes, or do you factor it in on these?
That was one of the things that they had punctuation. But I also think that instead of her saying my favorite candy is strawberry, and I like if she did more than one thing, like my favorite food is tacos, but my favorite candy is strawberry. So like putting topics together more.
Well, and that just made me think too, if my favorite candy is like a strawberry, what? Like strawberry, that's a flavor. So my favorite flavor is strawberry, but my favorite candy is strawberry cotton candy, or strawberry whatever. Right, that you open up in a hard candy. Like, so that it's actually kind of an error, but not, because that's descriptive. Yeah. Yeah. So that could be a next that could be a next step too, to help, or to when she's revising, like, what is strawberry, what? Strawberry gummy bears, strawberry in general. Right. Well, and the spelling on it too shows that she has seen SCH in print, like, and she's getting other phonics pieces, or like when you, phonics is when you see it. Strawberry. I was thinking that too, but teacher. And the fact that she has it, the ch right here, but then the ch, that doesn't dawn on her that. But what did she say, teacher? Like, I mean, teacher.
Combining topics and say that. So combining topics. So combine, like, an example would be like getting like 2 food things she has right here. So combining them. Saying my favorite candy is strawberry, but I like tacos. My favorite food is tacos. Okay, with conjunction.
And they can start going into when we were talking about elaborating, when she says my favorite toy is polar bear, like, to explain, like, is my stuffed animal polar bear, or my whatever this polar bear is.
Adding that down. Making sure that the adjective is describing it. Same thing with the strawberry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I would making sure that ensure that the adjective is describing it.
And then
I don't have much for the identification of errors related to conjunctions and prepositions.
The only prepositional stuff in the conjunction is, or we didn't really have anything.
So for conjunction,
the end
preposition. Oh yeah, that too. So I play on my room was a preposition error.
I play on my room. Okay.
And she also had Miss H likes green and instead of and.
One like instead of like.
Yeah, likes and likes licking green things. I think that's what it is. Well, in preparation for St. Patrick's Day.
Well,
I feel like last year we didn't get to either because of a snow day or something.
Yeah.
She's like, so she used N for N, and so that's her native language coming out. If she's running out of steam,
faster.
or
Yeah.
Okay.
is so it's not related to prepositions and conjunctions, but if we want it, like we talked about, she's missing the article A. My favorite toy is a polar bear. And other next steps.
Polar bear.
Yeah. Or she could even say, is my polar bear, because then that could be another one to put on there. And like, or article, did you already put articles in there?
Nope.
So to use an article in front of polar bear, because that was one of the common errors that we were talking about a few weeks ago. And I know that's not our topic today, but when we do this for real, we're gonna try to address the child as a whole. And a later next step would be capitalizing Minecraft and Roblox, because they're proper nouns. And maybe could teach her this correct spelling of favorite later. I mean, this is.
Which is ironic because it was.
And sometimes that's better, I think, because it makes me crazy too when I'll have something on the board and think, why didn't you? But yet they have it right on their paper the way they were hearing it. So that's actually a higher level skill, I think. So, right. Yeah. I know Miss Ernst is good. Miss Ernst.
No.
No. You should wrap up. Yeah. And here's a random capitals in here.
Yeah.
So, and not a capital for your name.
So.
I mean, that's what I meant.
And look, she did some revising and editing. She changed that to an I. So. And it. Learning so much. So overall, we think this girl is an expanding writer, right? Overall, she
Can do.
Right. So we.
But how maybe I'm something, but they go.
Right, and now we know what to do to teach her, how to teach her to move her up to the next level. So she will benefit from all that we're learning in this class. Right. Stay tuned. We'll see.
We hope you're well.
All right. Thanks.